lovely and friendly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great personal pleasure for me to introduce the star. It's a live show. Introduce the star of tonight's show, because I've been a fan of his for a very long time. In fact, I'd like to take you, if I may, back to the year 1962. You're too young. Because it was 17 years ago in one of the poorer districts of Birmingham that I got a story to tell, and I'm going to tell it. But a 15-year-old boy with a rather ordinary name of Richard Owen had an ambition. He wanted to be an entertainer. Well, of course, the beginnings were very hard, and like most stage-struck youngsters, he did impressions of television stars at the youth club socials. The results were not very encouraging. I didn't hear that. Despite that, after he started work, he spent his first month's wages on a second-hand guitar, and he bluffed his way into a folk club. Well, things were still hard for young Richard, but he persevered. He persevered. He wrote his own songs, he told his own jokes, and he developed his own line of patter. Success still eluded him, until one night, in the famous Half Moon Club just off the Bull Ring, a booking agent spotted him, and he said everything was all right except for the name. Change the name. And he'd get him all the work he could have. Of course, the rest is history. Little Richard Owen changed his name to Derek Owen. And they offered him a job immediately in a greengrocer's. Within 6 weeks, he'd emigrated to Tasmania, and he'd been arrested for kangaroo rustling. And he has never been heard of since. But meanwhile, on this stage tonight, the famous son of Mr. Harold Carrott and his wife Marina is waiting to entertain you. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jasper Carrott.
It's always been my ambition to perform with Katie Boyle. Yes. I'm going to buy that and start a fish shop. Come on, now behave yourselves now, it's a live show, right? And that's the royal box there, look, the royal box. Look like the Muppets or something. And just what it is, like people said, no, it's not really live, is it? And it is live, because look. That's BBC One. It's a really boring film. It's got Lauren Bacall in it, and actually she isn't a housewife. She's in fact a Russian spy, and she's the murderer. So if you're thinking of switching over, forget it. There's Shakespeare on side 2. He's dead, you know, Shakespeare. I didn't even know he'd been ill. Hello, on ITV, we've got... What's the matter? Oh, you didn't like the Katie Boyle? Hang on a minute. There we are. You see, it's live. I can do whatever I want to do. I can say anything. They can't do anything, can they? Only put that silly card, normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. That's out because I've nicked it, so... So I put on a bra. Not that I've ever put on a bra. I don't know whether you're into omens, right? Seriously, no, because when it... Can you have a second pair of trousers ready in the break? It's gone. I'm not going to believe this, really. I knew it was going to be one of those days. This morning, really, you know, I thought, I'm going to the Theatre Royal, right? I'll have a bath, right? And I was in the bath, like, you know, sort of, no one else was in the house. It was one of those odd jobs, you know, with my Head and Shoulders shampoo and... Gets rid of your dandruff, sends you blind, you know. And you've got lovely hair. I wish I could see it. So I was like playing with me duck and things, and suddenly like this ding 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 ding. I thought, there's no one in. Ding ding, really persistent. I thought, well, it's bound to be important, isn't it? It's bound to be important. So like I got out the bath and drowned rat, got my bathrobe on, ran down the stairs, opened up the door. Jehovah's Witnesses. Did I know the world was going to end next week? I thought it was going to end sooner than you think, mate. Anyway, I gave them a quick flash and they scarpered off. So. Well, it saves buying a watchtower, doesn't it? Blooming Fortums they are. And I always buy a watchtower when they call. Well, you never know. I mean, they could be right, couldn't they? I mean, there's all these religions, and they could be right, you know? Nothing like putting a sort of a good word in for you, is there? You know, Judgment Day, they could be sitting there, couldn't they? You know, like, oh, here he is, God. Oh, yes, he buys the watchtower. Yeah, last time he called, he gave us a flash. Do you ever wonder who's right? Do you ever wonder who's right? No, neither do I. You know, I mean, all these... Someone's got to be right, haven't they? Eh? I hope it's the Mormons. Ready? Save me! It wouldn't be them, would it? Too much fun, innit? Probably be the Moonies or something. Oh, dear. I mean, basically, it's a form of selling, isn't it? Door-to-door selling, like. And I used to be a salesman, you know. Thought you'd be impressed. I used to work for those people with the ring of confidence, you know. And I used to sell toothpaste. Yeah. And I used to work on this blitz team. We used to go around and blitz towns like Grimsby and things. And with a thing called Gleamodent. Yeah, Gleamodent. And it was a false teeth toothpaste. Which, well, it's going back about 12 years ago, and that was revolutionary. Gleamodent was like revolutionary, because, like, well, the only way you could clean false teeth about 12 years ago was in Sterident, right? And well, you had to take him out first, obviously. Or you're sticking your head in a bowl or even. You're coming to bed, Dale. And we had to go around all these shops, and they launched it in Anglia, TV area. And I remember going around Norwich and all around there. And we're going into all these shops. It was a complete failure. The product was a complete failure. We're going into all these shops saying, hey, this is fantastic, Gleamodent! And all the shopkeepers going, It was like all shopkeepers have got false teeth, right? I mean, that's just a fact of life. You'll learn that. Next time you go, right. Then they probably charge too much for the products or something. I ain't paying that, mate. We got into ourselves, hey, this is fantastic Glimo dent, and like we were about halfway through it, and they all said the same thing. They all said, you'll never sell that round here, mate. Hey? No, they all soak the teeth in Domestos round here. And I couldn't believe that. That is true. All over the country, people clean their false teeth in Domestos. Can you imagine putting teeth in your mouth after they've been in Domestos all in? You'd walk around smelling like a bog, wouldn't you? People keep running out and spraying you with dot, you know. Isn't TV a strange thing? Doesn't it rule your lives, don't you think? Yes, yeah, good. I mean, basically, when it comes down to it, like, what you've got to do is entertain a lump of metal. Isn't it? That's it, isn't it? I mean, and you need a lot of experience, you know, which I'm very fortunate in having. Well, for years I was performing in front of that camera they have outside C&A. The only trouble is you have to queue up to get on, don't you? Has the C&A in London got a camera outside, has it? No, oh. I suppose you nick stuff in London, do you? You nick stuff? No, I'm from St John's Wood. Well, they nick stuff in Birmingham, which is why they got a camera outside, you know, like, keep lifting the paving slabs, you know. And the C&A in Birmingham has got cameras hanging from the ceiling everywhere. If I'm feeling a bit mean, I'll go in on a Saturday morning when it's busy, you know, go up to the pen and pencil counter and go, ooh. I saw detectives come running. Just before they get to you, put them all back, you know. Jolly wheeze, you know, and well, I mean, what is strange, like, you get something like the sweet counter there, you know, like, and they've got about 4 cameras on the sweet counter, you know, about £250,000 worth of cameras guarding 20 quid's worth of Smarties. TV. I once did Top of the Pops, you know. You know, I don't know, Jasper Carrott on Top of the Pops. It's a bit like Vera Lynn doing the old grey whistle test. Oh, I had a few illusions shattered when I did that, you know, because, like, I mean, you know, I was an avid Top of the Pops watcher, you know, like, oh, yeah. And you think it's a really swinging place, don't you? Hey. And it's not, they only allow 30 kids into the studio, you know, like, and they rope them together, like, the camera goes, they yank these kids. And I was a Pan's People freak, you know. Yeah, 7:10 every Thursday. And when I did it, I met them live. They're only that high, you know? They're all covered in zits. Oh, do you know about them? Oh. I think we better cut the next 10 minutes. Oh. Well, just in case you don't know, now all it is, I'm just trying to introduce a word into the English language, which is zit, right? And yeah, I got it in America, right? And it's American slang for our spot or pimple. You know, like, a really dull word. I'm going to spot you. This pimple here. But that's it. You know, and you can't resist them. One's on the forehead, the best. There's your mum saying, "Don't touch your spots, Jasper, they'll spread." No, Mum. So basically, if you can, just... my ambition is to obliterate the word spot from the dictionary. So if you go about your work and your pleasure and things, if you come across spot, right, put zit in its place, and let's see if we can get it. Well, yes. Some places it's working. Like on the south coast, I did a bit of a tour, and they really went for it down there. It's like they put the football on the penalty zit, and there's competitions in the paper like zit the ball. And get puddings like zitted dick. Katie Zit. Oh, do they let you bring your drinks in? Don't they? You miserable devils. Let them bring the drinks in. Shame. Dear. I've got this mole, you know. Right. It's making a hell of a mess of my garden. Well, it's strange really, because like I bought a house out in the country about a couple of years ago, and I inherited this mole. Right. And like, well, being Birmingham born and bred, you know, well, you don't come across a lot of moles in Birmingham. Found a mole in Birmingham, they'd eat it. You know. And then we bought this house, like, and this mole has driven me mental. I tell you, like, if ever I cop hold of it, I'll bury it alive. The mess they make, it's feel like I spend hours on my lawn rolling it and cutting it, you know, and getting it all level, and you wake up next morning like zits all over your lawn. And I've tried everything to get rid of it. Well, the thing is, I mean, first of all, you think, oh, mole, get rid of the mole. See? So you go along to the hardware shop and you say, can I have a mole trap? See? Sensible. And they sell it you with one of those knowing he'll-be-back smiles, you know. And you give him like a, no, I won't. And a mole trap's like a big metal thing, you know. And you have to, and you have to bait it with worms. Yeah. I use spaghetti, hope they wouldn't notice the difference. So I got this trap and baited it with worms and things, and I put it into the run and covered it all over. And the mole came along, right, and ate all the worms and shoved the trap out the way. That's not playing the game, is it, really? And I tried it for about 4 or 5 months, you know, like, and like the mole just got immense. Like, he stopped digging because I was feeding him all the bloody worms. So I went back to the hardware shop and he gave me his, and he sold me a box of fireworks, right, and called mole smoke. Yeah, and they're like Roman candles, you see, and like what you do, you light the end and you stick it down the hole, you see, like, and the smoke, which is heavier than air, lies in the run, is poisonous and kills the mole. No, it doesn't. The moles love them. Oh, you can hear them. That purple one. And after a while, you develop a mole twitch, you know, like in... Have you got a mole? And people have got these loopy ideas how to get rid of moles and things, and they always start... The thing is, you're such a mental state, you accept them all, you know, and they always start off by saying, like, there's only one way to get rid of a mole. So I was there, and this bloke says, there's only one way to get rid of a mole. He says, you've got to shove garlic and mothballs down the holes. They don't like the smell. Really? Yeah, never fails. So I was there, 4 ton of the stuff. Ate the lot, completely. Oh, immense. Bigger molehills, you know. And this other bloke comes, he said, there's only one way to get rid of a mole. He says, you've got to buy those little wooden windmills from Woolworths. And I don't know, you know, those long wooden stick things, and it's got a plastic bit on the end which whirs round in the wind. He says, and you get one of them, he says, you stick it down the middle of the molehill till the end gets in the hole. He said, and when the wind sends the whirly bit round, it vibrates the stick and the noise scares the mole away. I stood for it. I had 200 of them in my lawn. First gust of wind blew the fence down. Boom! So it was just a while. When I finally gave up, it was a while ago. And I was in the local boozer, you know, and I was in the bar area, all the yokels coming in, and I was sort of having a pint. And this bloke came in, you see, and he came up to me and he said, "Here! I hear you got a mole." Yeah. He said, "Oh, there's only one way to get rid of a mole. Blow its bloody head off." I said, "What sort of..." He said, "No, with a 12-bore. I said, "I've never seen the thing. How am I going to shoot it?" He said, "Oh, cost you a night's sleep, mind." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, what you've got to do," he says, "you've got to stay up all night in your garden." He said, "And when it's quiet, Moley likes it nice and quiet. He starts digging. When he starts digging, he starts throwing his earth up on your lawn. When he's doing that, he's only half an inch from the top. Get your old 12-bore, line it up. Boom! Deader." I said, "It never fails?" "Never fails." I said, "Right, where can I get a 12-bore?" He said, "Oh, you can borrow mine for a $5." Yeah, okay. So he came round, this was on a Sunday, strangely enough, and he bought this great big 12-bore, you know, and a great big box of cartridges, like enough to do a bank raid, you know, immense. And so it was like 11 o'clock, right, 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, and there I was, I got this great big 12-bore, and I'd strapped a torch to the barrel. Stuck this torch to the barrel, and I got a revolving stool, you know, and I was... And all the neighbours are watching him, like, "What's he doing? I don't know. Imitating a lighthouse." It was about 3 a.m. in the morning, you know, like I'm on this stool. And suddenly I heard and there was this earth coming out on top of my lawn, about 5 yards ahead. I got my 12-bore. Bye-bye, Moley. The thing is, I know this sounds stupid now, but I'd never fired a 12-bore in my life. I flew 10 yards off my stool and shot all the apples out my tree. I was furious. I was possessed. I was... Baboon! 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 Baboon, come here, you little basket! Baboon! Baboon! The garden was like the Somme. Baboon! Baboon! there was this blue flashing light. These two coppers standing there like... What are you doing, Carrott? Mole catching! So they wandered over, you know, and I took him inside for a drink. And always popular, that. And the one guy was very sympathetic because he'd had a mole. And he sort of said, he understood, you know, and carry on, but like, be quiet. You great 12 ball. So now I'm looking for a 12 ball with a muffler. Can help out. But they send you bonkers. They really. Whew. I mean, it's there now. Dig in. My garden. But they've got me beetroots now. What's on tonight? Beetroot? Oh, great. I love beetroot. It's not as good as mothball and garlic, is it? And then fireworks, we can see what we're doing there, don't you? It's bloody noisy up there the other night, wasn't it? I think we've got to take some of the commercials now. We've got to take some of the commercials now. So we're going to take the commercials now, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. I mean, well, you might as well see the commercials as well, mightn't you? Oh, dear, cheers. If anything else goes, let me know, will you? Being in London's given me a chance to listen to Capital Radio. Are you yeah? All right. Yes, very clever. Yeah. Sit back in your chair and we'll plug it in. Local radio is becoming really big business, isn't it? I mean, like, there's another 20 new local stations to hit the country soon. And maybe, I know a lot of you from sort of different parts of the country. And there's sort of two types of local radio, right? There's sort of the BBC ones, and then there's the commercial ones, all those silly adverts, you know, if it's safe in water, it's safe in Lux. Nothing like goldfish, it's not, but I mean... What is strange, you know, I mean, I travel around the country and listen to all these radio stations, because I love local radio. And what is strange, you find that each commercial station, right, wherever you are, each commercial station tends to sort of throw up its own local personality. There he is! And you hear some amazing things, really. I mean, as you travel around, because like the IBA, that's the Independent Broadcasting Association, tend to be sort of a little bit sort of easier going with them, you know. And in Manchester, there's a thing called Piccadilly Radio, right? And there's always one, isn't there? I'll take her out, mate. She's almost ready there. To get through this, aren't we? There used to be a bloke who a DJ on Piccadilly called James Stanage, right? And this guy was amazing, and he was the best listened to DJ on Piccadilly Radio. But the thing is, he had this really late night show to do it. He had a show from 11 p.m. through till 2 a.m. in the morning, right? And he used to get the best listening figures of the day. Like hundreds of thousands of people used to sit up and listen to this loon on the other end. The thing is, he was totally outrageous. The first time I ever heard him, this is a true story, right? I was working in Wigan, right? I was doing oral rugby club. There's nothing funny about Wigan. Well, there is, but forget it. And it was a late night do, and I drove home afterwards, and to get from Wigan to Bromley, you use the M6, you see. So, like, I'm belting down the M6, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And I'm bypassing Manchester, and I know nothing about Piccadilly Radio or James Stanage or anything. And, like, 1 o'clock, like, I was going through my radio dial, right, when I was trying to find anything that was English. 1 o'clock in the morning, there's naff all on, isn't there? Well, you finally find an English song, you think, oh, great, and the end of it, you hear, Heinz Fein and Heidelberg. So, right, I'm belting down, right, and suddenly I come across this Mancunian accent, you see, and I thought, very odd one of him. And it was this James Stanage. He said, well, welcome back after the news. He said, it's James Stanage here, Piccadilly Radio. He says, we're going to do thousands of requests tonight. We've got hundreds of requests to get through tonight. He said, then we've got loads of requests from Salford University up in North Manchester there. He said, we're going to do a few requests for them. And the first one is for a girl called Peggy Walker. And she'd like a song for her boyfriend, Freddie the Farter. I was into a police wave band or something. And I couldn't believe what was coming out this radio. And I stayed on the hard shoulder for the rest of the show. You know? And I was like, people would phone in going, hello, James, I was wondering if I could have a request for my auntie. She's 73 tomorrow. I go, oh, sod off, you boring old cat. Cars on the hard shoulder listening to this, you know? Amazing. And I found out who he was, and he was wonderful, wonderful. I used to drive up from Birmingham to Manchester to listen to it. He was and Birmingham has a wonderful character, wonderful character. Yeah. He's world famous in Birmingham. He really is. Birmingham has a station called BRMB, which is a commercial station. And there's a bloke on there who does the sport called Tony Butler, right? And it's difficult to describe him, really. He's so bad, he's brilliant. I mean, I can't make it. For instance, he does football predictions, right? And he's 100% wrong. Football teams have told me they sit in front of the set 2:45 on a Saturday afternoon waiting for the Butler prediction, you know. If he predicts them to win, that's it. They don't bother to get changed. He does a wondrous show on a Saturday, really. And it goes from 2 p.m. through till 7 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. It's all sport. And as you know, if you listen to a lot of local radio, they do a tremendous amount of phone-ins, right? And Butler does an immense amount of them. But the thing is, he's a very controversial character and tends to sort of have a go at people, and people phone him up and disagree with him. To such a degree, they've had to introduce a 4-second delay on the transmission. So what happens is he does the phone call with the guy, you know, it goes onto a piece of tape, right, it's a long piece of tape, 4 seconds later it hits the head and you hear it. And the engineer that's listening's got 4 seconds to get the obscenities out. And he does it by interjecting the jingle which goes, BRMB Radio. And it's fascinating on a Saturday, you know, you're listening to him and he's on the line there. Right, it's back to the lines and it's Brian on line 4. Come in, Brian on line 4. Hello, Tone, I'd just like to say I think you ought to shove that microphone right up your BRMB. Everyone in Birmingham is praying for the engineer to miss, you know. And he gets lovely people phoning him in, you know, particularly on Saturday, like after the games, you know. They say, "Hello, Tone! What about the Villa then, eh? Yeah, what about them? Thanks, Tone." "Hello, Tone, I was down the Villa today and they were magic. Andy Gray hit this one ball. If he'd have gone in the net, it'd have been a goal." And he does competitions for me. This week's competition, it's for 2 free tickets for last year's cup final. What are Trevor Francis's initials? It's a tough one this week, isn't it? Hello, Tone, is it 1968? Yeah, you've won, you're the nearest. It was a true story, a true Butler story. It was when, a couple of seasons ago, Albion were doing very well. Right? And they had a very good chance of going up into the First Division, and everyone knew they were going up to the First Division in Birmingham anyway, because Butler had predicted them to go down, you know. And they came towards the end of the season, they had to play Oldham, right? And they went up to Oldham. If they beat Oldham, they would go up into the First Division. And Butler gets one of his henchmen to cover the game because it's very important, you know, and God knows where he gets these people from until he pops down to the street and says, "Hey, you! Do you want to go up to Oldham?" "Okay." So he sends this geezer up called Harry Tathui, and he keeps doing reports for you over the phone. "This is Harry Tathui, BRMB Radio, and the Albion are playing very well. Back to you, Tone." End of the game came, the Albion had won 1-0, right? And so they've got to do something special. So Tony gets hold of Harry off the air. He says, "Harry," he said, "do something special. Go and get one of the Albion players. We'll do an interview over the lines." "All right." He went, "Right, Tone." So he toddled away. He came back. He said, "Hello, Tone." "Yes, Harry." He says, "I've got John Osborne, the Albion goalkeeper. He's going to do an interview with me." "All right." He went, "Right, stick with him, Harry." He says, "After the break, I'll announce it." So they play the commercial break. After the commercial break, Tony's there. "What a fantastic day this is for West Bromwich Albion. They've smashed Oldham 1-0 and hammered their way into the First Division, like what I predicted." And then it's a special day for the Albion. Our man at the match, Harry Tathui, is talking to none other than the Albion goalkeeper, John Osborne. "Come in, Harry." "Harry! Harry! Hello, Tone. Tone is pissed off."
We advertised in the Standard, didn't we, dear?
Yes, and honestly, the house was gone in no time.
Yes, pretty quickly.
Oh, almost immediately.
I rang the Evening Standard on 353-2345 for a little ad, and I reckon it was about 2.5 hours from the paper coming out to my MG going.
We thought we'd try the Standard. We advertised for 4 nights, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
We advertised in the Evening Standard for secretaries, and the jobs are filled the very next day.
Sorry, mate, I've just sold it with one of them little lads in the Evening Standard. I'll tell you what you do. If you go down about 200 yards on the left...
There are more pages of little ads in the Evening Standard than any other newspaper. Phone 353-2345.
There was a time when motorists had to change their oil with the seasons. One oil for easier starting in the winter, another for hot running protection in the summer. We thought, why not give complete protection all the year round in just one oil? So we invented it, the world's first multigrade. But that was nearly 30 years ago. Today's motoring makes even greater demands on the oil. Yet the motorist expects full protection and fuel economy too. So we have produced new Esso Superlube, an oil that does just that. New Esso Superlube, the striped protector.
Walt Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea takes you on an epic voyage through the unexplored ocean in the Nautilus with a power-crazed commander whose aim is to take over the world. Journey into the unknown with Walt Disney's action-packed adventure. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea at the Odeon St. Martin's Lane and a cinema near you now.
Tomorrow, reach for a star. London's dazzling new Daily Star. The daily that shines through the gloom. 32 pages of star personalities, star fashions, Star TV, Stargazer, and Kathy Cousins with the page that takes the gloves off. But cheer up, fellas. There's 7 pages of all-star sport. And that luscious full-page Starbird in beautiful colour every Monday. It's got to be Britain's best buy. And it's only 6pence.
Someone's nicked me harmonica. Isn't it? This equipment is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, like, the thing is, this is all fairly recent for me. For years, I had to use those big BBC cast iron microphones, you know, like big Victory V lozenges. Remember, they used to read the news and you could never see who it was. The thing is, when the BBC got rid of them, you know, they sold a great big job lot to all the working men's clubs in this country. And there's a technique in using them, and no one's ever found it, you know, except the BBC. That's why all working men's clubs' mics sound the same.
Sorry, forget you.
Sorry, Mike, Ellie!
Corey, I'll get your bingo card. I'll get your bingo card. Hot plasters are on sale, there's cheese rolls, ham rolls, casseroles, whistles, also.
There's half a ton of gob in here, isn't it? Embarrassing, isn't it, really? It's not a Roman Catholic, Mike. I suppose it's rock groups that have brought on all this stuff, really. I mean, can you imagine if rock groups had to use those great big cast iron BBC ones? Can you imagine Led Zeppelin, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Cocaine would be out, wouldn't it? They would be on anabolic steroids. Music is amazing, isn't it? And is punk rock in or out? Does anybody know that? No, it's these things come and go so quick, don't they? You know, like, some people say it's in, some people say it's out. You know, but the thing is, like, I mean, if punk rock's out, people are going to lose fortunes, aren't they? I mean, like a mate of mine is a toy manufacturer, right? And he's got a warehouse full of Cindy dolls that vomit. You want to see his action, man. When you're on a bus, when you're on a bus, when the nutter gets on the bus, does the nutter sit next to you? The nutter always sits next to me. Why is that? Why do I always get the nutter? I'm the same as everyone else. It happened the other day. I was on the top deck of the bus and minding my own business. Bus stopped, you know, a couple of people get on, starts off. Then you could hear the nutter coming up the stairs. Has anyone seen my camel? Nutter. Please, God, don't let the nutter sit next to me. I bought a watchtower, please. And everybody starts stretching out on the seats, don't they? If I'm on the bus, no problem, they'll spot me. Woo! I must have this aura above my head, nutter lover, you know? Is anyone seated? No, oh, good. You can hear the visible sighs of relief from everyone else on the bus. And, oh my God, he's got the nutter. I thought I was in for that one, you know. It's a camel job, they're the worst one. And nutters love showing you things, don't they? I've got an atom bomb here, you know. Corned beef tin, you know. Because once you've got the nutter, everybody else can enjoy it then, can't they? What's he got? He's got a corned beef tin! Have you paid your fare? Yes, here are my tickets. Oh, good. Rip, 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 rip. I love weddings. And they never let you get off either, do they? Excuse me? No! It's been 3 days on a bus with a nutter sometimes. It's that loser thing, isn't it? You know, I reckon everyone loses some way, you know, in their life. And, like, you always find out when you're, like, you know, basically in your early days, how you're going to lose through life. Like, I'm always the mug job. My school days were tortured, all blue goldfish and, you know... Yeah, you know, have you seen the blue goldfish? You know, no, and then well, it's in that bog there, and then you go... Ooh. The first time I ever played rugby, right, true story, and I moved from junior school to senior school, and when I moved, right, I was a football freak, but like the new school played rugby, right? And didn't know anything about it at all. And all the first formers were in the same boat because we'd all played football, like, and the new school it was rugby. And we were getting changed. First sort of second day we had to get changed for rugby. We were all in the dressing room getting changed, you know, like, and that was an event because you'd never have to change in front of anybody in the juniors, did you? I mean, like, you could wear your football shorts over your trousers, couldn't you? You get your bags in. Oh, not so bad. Bragging there. And I was getting changed, you know, and a couple of prefects came in and they started wandering around, you know, and they came up to me, see? They said, you played rugby before, mate? No. Ooh, it's an awful rough sport, you know. Is it? Yeah, blood, guts, gore. You need plenty of protection. Have you bought any protection? No. I mean, you ought to be wearing a box. Have you got a box? No. And they they just happened to have one with them, didn't they? Well, they would do, wouldn't they? And they explained it all to me, you know, like, and I walked onto the rugby pitch, first time I'd ever played the game, in front of all the first formers, the masters and the prefects. I've got this cricket box on my nose. Like, seemed perfectly logical to me. Thought it smelt a bit, you know. I thought, hello, I wonder where he's at his nose. Loser thing. I can never break the law either. That's a... Well, I can, obviously. I always get nicked, like, you know, my library book's a day overdue. Next morning, there's a ring of police around the house. Come on out, Carrott, we know you're in there. It's a mate of mine, he's a brummie, Bennet. He's got a great saying. He's an all-time loser. He's got a great saying. He says, like, if I fell in a barrel of bosoms, I'd come out sucking me thumb. Sums it up, doesn't it, really? And that'd be me, you know, because, like, I've never had that ability to chat the opposite sex. I don't know. If you're a bloke, right, you either can or you can't, you know, like, and if you can't, you always end with the blokes that can, and if you can, well, you never really appreciate it, do you, really? And it's, I mean, so I've got some friends, you know, and they're fantastic, never fail, you know. One is incredible, he just sort of walks into a bar and there'll be a girl surrounded by a rugby team, oh, you know, and just sort of walk up and go, hello there. What are you doing here? Looking for someone like you. Try that. Hello there. What are you doing here? Oh, piss off. I used to try really hard, you know. I used to go to all these parties and, like, really try, like, and this bloke gave me a book, How to Score at a Party, right? And I read it, and basically it said, go round and grin at everybody. I was like, hi there, 4 hours, hello. Not a light. I went home at the end of the evening, I looked in the bathroom mirror, I'd got this great big piece of green cabbage stuck between my teeth. Been walking round the whole evening, hello there. What's he got between his teeth, man? Looks like a piece of spinach to me. It's too green for spinach. Well, I don't know, maybe his nose is running. Is that about it, do you think? What are you doing, clapping yourself? Do we finish now? Have we got any more time? Can I just say thank you and stuff? Is that all right? Yeah? Well, if we can or we can't, I don't know how much we're doing for time. I just wanted to say thank you, right? And it's... sincerity from the stage is very difficult, isn't it, really? But, well, it is. All these guys come on in sharp suits and, like, big black bow tie, you know, because they've been strangled by a bat and all. You're a fantastic, wonderful, brilliant audience, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How much time we got left? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Good night to you.
Thank God next Saturday sees the last of the Alan Bennet plays. Next Saturday's offering is called All Day on the Sands, and purports to be the story of an ordinary family on holiday at Morecambe. I think back, you know, to the start of these plays, with what high hopes Betty and I embarked on the series. I opened a bottle of something a little bit special. Betty ran up something in the shape of a cannelloni, and we sat down to watch number 1, which turned out to be the thin end of an increasingly distasteful wedge, culminating, of course, in the notorious toe-sucking episode, which was instrumental in turning Betty into a crazed animal. Betty, you see, at the start of this series, was an ordinary, middle-class woman with her sights set firmly on the menopause. Now she haunts the topless discos of Chislehurst in a cruel parody of Olivia Newton-John. Tell me more, indeed. Life is strange. However, I shall follow these plays through to the bitter end and watch All Day on the Sands next Saturday after the late news, ITV. Then I shall put the milk bottles out, dice a few carrots, and sit up and wait for Betty. Bless her.